Thank you for your welcome. We heard a lot of data analysis, data sharing, data collection. I will go back to some science. I'm a plant biologist, and I think when we talk of health, it's good to talk also of science, not only of data. PHARMALP was a startup, was amongst the best 100 startups some 10 years ago. Now we are a small SME located in Valais. And right into hard science, what are polyphenols? You eat polyphenols every day. Polyphenols are molecules which are rich in what we have OH group. OH group are antioxidant. And when you listen to the press or to the health or whatever, people say, okay, eat antioxidant. Most of the antioxidant, anti-inflammatory compounds are polyphenols. There is thousands of these compounds in our food regimen. There are small polyphenol like phenolic acid and larger one called macrotannins and so on. And we can find them in numerous food. And as was stated above, there is more than 8,000 publications showing the effect of these polyphenol in health, in the prevention of cardiovascular health, in the prevention of inflammatory diseases, and also curing and preventing some type of cancer. So it's very interesting to work and to better know what kind and what potential we have with these polyphenols. By the way, you know, there was a kind of mode some years ago, eat some goji berries, it's good for your health. Goji are grown thousands of kilometers from here. Locally, we can have some very rich berries, rich in polyphenol, like the elderberry, like the also the aronia, which is a picture of the aronia. It's grown in Canada, but now since 50 years, it's grown also in Switzerland. It's the richest berry in terms of polyphenol that we can have. Unfortunately, it's very bitter, so it's good to have an extract and to make it edible for us. And here, resveratrol, red wine, it's one of the polyphenol, so that's why I say 1 glass a day, keep the doctors away. No, I think we say it differently, but not too much, but a bit of red wine is not bad for the health. I will have 2 topics that I would like to share with you in terms of how polyphenol can help our health. The first one is in women's health and especially in the recurrences of urinary tract infection. Urinary tract infection, a bit of physiology here. You have got the rectum where the E. coli is the small green bacteria, naturally goes into the bladder and infect, especially in women, the bladder and cause urinary infection. Why recurrences? It's because this bacteria goes inside the epithelial cell of the bladder and it keeps there. So one way of preventing the recurrences is to hinder and to prevent the E. coli to go inside these cells. How can we do this? We have, first of all, I have this slide. You know the bacterial resistance to antibiotic, and E. coli is the one which shows, at least for some strains, the most resistance. And it's growing over the year, and it's really a health topic. This is due to the overuse of antibiotics, either in the veterinary, in the food or whatever. Also in the medical practice where we use too much antibiotics. And we need to find solution because there is more than 1 million people per year who are dying because of antibiotic resistance of these bugs. 1 million per year. And it's growing. So here we had a project funded by InnoSuisse that we ran for 4 years with several academics in Switzerland, where we've wanted to find a solution, an alternative solution to antibiotherapy to prevent and to the urinary infection. We started from the literature from 600 plants down to 2 plants with 4 modes of action. Why 4 modes of action? When we want to treat a bacterial disease, we think of antibiotherapy, so killing the bacteria. Actually, it's not really killing, it's decreasing the amount of bacteria. It's not killing all of the bacteria. But this is the mode of action which is called bacteriostatic. But like in a war, it's a war against these bugs, against the bacteria. When there is a war, and unfortunately there is a lot of war in the world, you need to use terrestrial forces, terrestrial people, people with the boat, people with the air. So you have to have different approach. And this was our thinking, that in order to reduce the recurrences, we need to weaken the E. coli, and for this we need to have this anti-adhesion, so to prevent the adhesion of E. coli to the epithelial cell, bacteriostatic to kill the bacteria, diuretic in order to eliminate bacteria, and of course anti-inflammatory because there is inflammation whenever there is an infection locally. And here there was, in this project, data from ethnopharmacy. We have a lot of knowledge in the Alps, in Switzerland, in Austria, and in some part of France and Italy. A lot of knowledge on how plants are active on some ailments. Mode of action is very important. Science and nature is what we characterize our company. And of course, we did our phytochemistry in order to know what are the active principles of our plant extract and galenic formulation and domestication of plant. The agriculture, it took us 3 years to find the right cultivar, the right condition, when we collect the plant, how we extract it. So we need to combine all of this science in order to have effective plant, and indeed it was effective, as I am going to show you, and we were able to file a patent on it. These 2 plants are Reine des Prés, meadowsweet, Philippe pendula ulmaria, very rich in salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is the compound in aspirin. So, and this is a phenolic acid, so a small polyphenol. Willow herb, Epilobium parviflorum, and this is a polyphenol, but you see the structure of this molecule has got more than 20 hydroxyl groups, a lot of potential of antioxidant. And our patent is on the fact that eunotein is preventing the adhesion of E. coli, because if it cannot adhere to the cells, you can eliminate it. And there is also, as I'm going to show you, other mode of action of these combination of these 2 plants. We are, sorry, it's a bit in French, but the text is in English. We are 8 times more efficacious than other type of compound known in urinary infection, like cranberry and D-mannose, 8 times more effective with the combination of our extract. We are 10 times more effective in terms of bacteriostatic effect. And here, eunotein B is the active principle of the willow herb, and salicylic acid and the 2 other compounds are the metabolites that we find in the bladder. We measured in the bladder because with a drug or with a food supplement, when you eat it, there is metabolism due to the microbiota, due to the liver, and we need to know exactly what reaches the bladder, the place where we want it to be active. And we were able to measure these compounds, which are also active as bacteriostatic to kill the bacteria. Third mode of action, diuretic. You know, when a woman has got urinary infection, the medical doctors say, oh, drink a lot in order to eliminate. So diuretic effect, we measure this, and indeed we are diuretic with our combination of these 2 plants, which is not the case with the cranberry, which was like the control. And anti-inflammatory, this is an in vitro model. Interestingly, we thought it was salicylic acid, which was anti-inflammatory. This is not the case. Salicylic acid was like the negative control. There is something else in the extract, which we don't know yet, which was anti-inflammatory. So we decided to keep in our product the extract because of this anti-inflammatory effect due to other compounds than salicylic acid. At the end, We did also a small clinical observational study where we were able to show that by comparison to other treatment like D-mannose, cranberry, and this type of treatment, we had 50% less symptoms, and the duration of the episode were reduced by half also. So overall, we have an extract of 2 plants, but also we have active excipient, like we put D-mannose for the compression, we needed some compounds. We added vitamin D3, which is good for the immune system, and there is a publication which shows that vitamin D in women can elicit antibacterial peptide in the bladder. We put zinc for immune system and prebiotic in order to have a good flora linked to lactobacillus. 2 minutes? Okay. Second example of the interest of polyphenol, the prevention of cardiovascular disease. Here you have this statistic where cardiovascular disease is more than 1/3 of the cause of death before cancer. And cardiovascular disease, it's due to 2 silent killers, hypertension and high cholesterol level. The good thing is that we can act on this. We can prevent the risk of cardiovascular disease. As some people of Deloitte said, everyone should be the CEO of his own health, her own health. I very much liked what you mentioned. Indeed, prevention is the key to control the cost of not health, the cost of disease, or the cost of illness. And this is what we can do. There is some data that I let you read about the epidemiology of hypertension and hypercholesterolemia. Let me show you the risk factors. Some are non-modifiable. You can't change the age, the sex, or the ethnicity. Mind the sex, you can change it, but it doesn't change the risk of cardiovascular disease. And some are modifiable, like the risk of hypertension. The smoking is key. If you stop smoking, you decrease by half your risk factor. And also, the physical activity and your food regimen are key for these ailments, hypertension, diabetes, and high cholesterol level, especially LDL and triglyceride. This is the last scientific data that I'm going to show you, but this is key. This is a scheme of a blood vessel here, where you have the polyphenol that goes through the food regimen. And there is basically 5 modes of action. The major one is number 2, where with polyphenol, it has been shown that you can reduce the bad cholesterol, the cholesterol LDL. You can reduce its oxidation. And why is it important? Because it's oxidized bad cholesterol that goes into the atherosclerotic plaque and cause the hypertension. So with polyphenol, you can act at the end of the chain, not unlike statin, which act at the beginning of the chain by blocking the biosynthesis of cholesterol. And this is not good, blocking the biosynthesis of cholesterol. We need cholesterol in our physiology. We need it to keep our nerve system well, because it goes in the myelin, which is around the nerve. We need it for muscle. We need it for our physiology, but we don't need too much. So that's why statin has got secondary effect, because it blocks the biosynthesis. Here with polyphenol, we have anti-inflammatory effect, but we block the oxidation, which prevents bad cholesterol to accumulate. And we have clinical data with the 2 ingredients here. It's 2 other plants than the other one. It's aronia, very rich antioxidant, and hibiscus sabdariffa, where for hibiscus, we can show that compared to antihypertensive drug, we have the same effect in about a month. And the aronia, very rich in anthocyane, you know, these anthocyane are dark red and black colors. You can reduce triglyceride and LDL also. So combining these 2, we can act on decreasing hypertension and decreasing high cholesterol, bad cholesterol level. Finally, a third example, a short example of how polyphenol can be interesting. Here it's a spin-off of PHARMALP, and my colleague oncologist is over there with a beard. He is one co-founder of IBEX. We think that there is a potential with polyphenol to address an unmet medical need, which is the appearance of mucitis and candidosis in people treated by radio and chemotherapy. Almost 80% of the people, and there is 8,000 people per year in Europe who are under treatment for oncology, they develop mucitis, you know, in the mouth, and they can't feed themselves, most of them. And here we found with a short study, a proof of concept, that we were able to prevent the appearance of mucositis and of candidosis. And this is going to be a drug, and we are finalizing now around, and if some people are interested, of 3.5 million. We validated that it's sufficient with the B-Pharm, which is the equivalent of Swissmedic in German, to go on market. And then we have just with the EU market an EBITDA, which is interesting in 5 years. So finally, PHARMALP. We are located in Switzerland. We do it locally. Nature and science is what we characterize ourselves. Sustainable development also. We work only locally, and we do all of our logistics with handicapped people, and we work with organic biopharmers. We have 13 products. Some of them are here. And we have 2 patents and several brands, and we are selling our product in pharmacies and also at the international level. In Switzerland, most of them are food supplements, but in some international countries, they are considered as drugs, so we have the dossier for drug with most of our products. So we do research and marketing and locally. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you very much. So let's see if there is some question upcoming. In the meantime, you are providing some food supplements as well as drugs, right? So what how do you choose whether it would be a drug or a food complement?
It's a good question. Our R&D is market driven. So first of all, we look at the market, what's our unmet health or medical need, and that's how we developed in the women health. We developed solution for iron deficiency with bioavailable iron, for recurrences of vaginal infection, recurrences of urinary infection, and then cardiovascular thing. And then why food supplement and drug? I'm coming from the pharma industry, but I think we can do this in terms of health more cleverly than waiting that people are sick. And by preventing, the fast track is food supplement. Basically, it's less than 1 million for a food supplement to be developed in 2 to 3 years, compared to the 800 or 1 billion for a drug with a high risk, which take 10 or 12 years. Once you have a food supplement where there is a market attractiveness, of course, and that's what we are doing with Ibex and our solution for the mouth, we then transform it to a drug. But it's a fast track. We have safety data from the market, and usually it's one clinical data which is sufficient to have a drug status when there is interest. So typically is to bring to the market a fast solution and effective solution.
Okay, thank you very much.